You are listening to the Daily Treasure podcast produced by Mark Inc. Ministries. Today's devotional is called Hannah's Song. Today's treasure, and Hannah prayed and said, "My heart exults in the Lord. My horn is exalted in the Lord." 1 Samuel 2:1. Hannah's song requires much more than a devotional in order to unpack the rich doctrines and joy that drives its way out of Hannah's heart and into these beautiful words. Remember that Eli could not hear Hannah's lament for a son, but in this song, Hannah publicly and openly declares God's gracious love extended toward her. Israeli families passed on this song for generations as a means of joining in Hannah's praise of God, but also their confidence that God would keep his promise of deliverance and blessings. As you read these beautiful words, imagine you are peeking into the private journal of this once broken-hearted woman. We have watched as God transforms her from a woman besieged by taunts and torments of her sister wife and the grave disappointment of an empty womb. Now we observe the tangible joy that starts in her heart and spills out through her lips. Try to get inside Hannah's heart as you read and meditate on her words. Note that not once does Hannah ask God for anything. Instead, every word points to the pricelessness of his character and love. Hannah draws parallels between his treatment of her and her confidence that the faithfulness he has extended to her belongs to his people as well. Allow her story to fuel your pilgrimage with hope. And Hannah prayed and said, "My heart exults in the Lord. My horn is exalted in the Lord. My mouth derides my enemies, because I rejoice in your salvation. There is none holy like the Lord, for there is none besides you. There is no rock like our God. Talk no more so very proudly. Let not arrogance come from your mouth. For the Lord is a God of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed. The bows of the mighty are broken, but the feeble bind on strength. Those who were full have hired themselves out for bread, but those who were hungry have ceased to hunger. The barren has borne 7, but she who has many children is forlorn. The Lord kills and brings to life. He brings down to Sheol and raises up. The Lord makes poor and makes rich. He brings low and he exalts. He raises up the poor from the dust. He lifts the needy from the ash heap to make them sit with princes and inherit a seat of honor. For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and on them he sets the world. He will guard the feet of his faithful ones, but the wicked shall be cut off in darkness. For not by might shall a man prevail. The adversaries of the Lord shall be broken to pieces. Against them he will thunder in heaven. The Lord will judge the ends of the earth. He will give strength to his king and exalt the horn of his anointed. 1 Samuel 2:1-10. Hannah's song is not just about her personal pilgrimage, but the longing of God's people for the promised Messiah. Take the time to break apart Hannah's song and look for the promise of a coming Messiah. Hannah's story encouraged the Jewish people to believe that just as God had not forgotten Hannah, he would not forget them. When I am tempted to doubt the validity of God's word, stories like this encourage me to trust our Father, because he has kept the promise of the Messiah, as described by Hannah.
Friends, again, I'm so grateful to join you for the Daily Treasure podcast just for a minute as we are continuing on our pilgrimage fueled by hope. And I'm so grateful to those of you who join us every day. I love imagining all of us linking arms and walking this pathway together as we revel in the glory of God and his promises. One of the ways that we offer help and hope, as many of you know, is through our podcast that is called Help and Hope. And I want to introduce you today to Elizabeth Turnage. Elizabeth has been a guest on the Help and Hope podcast before, where we talked about the waiting room. She has a lot of experiences in the waiting room and on caregiving. And out of her journey, she is now offering a course called Organizing Your Life and Legacy. And I am 75 years old, so I could not wait to talk with Elizabeth about this topic. She has said a silver wave is coming because baby boomers are facing probably the hardest challenge of their lives, and that is how to die well. And Elizabeth is passionate about helping us get our affairs in order, really as a gift to those who will be coming behind us, to our children, and also for peace of mind for ourselves, to know that we have thought carefully and intentionally about what kind of a legacy we want to leave, and making it easy for those we love to access it. In this conversation, Elizabeth talks about how her dad died without making any plans, even though he knew he was dying, and compared that to when her mother died. Suddenly, she was prepared and in fact had a folder with a page on top of it with 5 steps for Elizabeth to take immediately. Now imagine the gift that that mother gave to her daughter, a daughter who is grieving unexpectedly, and yet here her mother is mentoring her and holding her hand and walking with her through this process, even though she was not there physically. I want to be that kind of a mother, and I'm sure that you do too. So tune in to my conversation with Elizabeth Turnage, where we are talking about organizing your life and legacy. Go to helpandhopenow.org and click the Help and Hope link and look for that conversation with Elizabeth Turnage. I can't wait for you to hear it, and I hope that you will help us spread the word about the Help and Hope podcast. Make sure that you share it on social media, share it with your friends, leave a rating, subscribe so that you don't miss one. I look forward to being with you tomorrow. I'm Sharon Betters, and no matter where you walk today, may you walk by faith knowing that God is sovereign and you can trust Him.